Hey, if we haven't met yet, my name is Linda Blaylock, and I am the creator of the How to Eat for CKD method. I'm a chef, nutritionist, a kidney health coach, and a caregiver to my husband who has stage 3 kidney disease. I was also contracted with American Kidney Fund for about 4 years, where I tested and created recipes for them, as well as supplied educational information for their website and their blog. Now, I'm not getting paid by them. And I'm just mentioning them because I still have a really great relationship with them. And I think they're a really great company. So I absolutely support them at every chance I get. And now, if you want to see any of the great recipes that I created, you are welcome to visit their Kidney Kitchen website, and you can find them there. So if you had seen the last video about creating your list, then this is the perfect spot for you if you are following an alternative CKD diet. So gluten-free, lower carb, non-dairy, vegan, or vegetarian. We touched on that a little bit in the previous video, but I wanted to go more in depth on it because there's a little bit more to that when you're trying to create that list and you're working with this alternative diet. So, first things first, when it comes to combining these alternative diets with CKD, you do need to know your ingredients. When you're working with the many food options that are available, the base ingredient of a product and your daily allotment of nutrients is going to determine whether or not that product or that food is going to fit for your kidney diet. So when I was working with the American Kidney Fund, they had plenty of recipes. And so they had me testing a lot of them. And then they moved me into creating recipes, and they said, this is what we really need. And that was gluten-free, non-dairy, vegan, vegetarian, and lower carb. And I am so very thankful that I got that opportunity, that they had me do that, because, things just really opened up. There's a whole world of products out there that, we never really considered. And after working through all of that, it just opened up an immense amount of variety for us. When I'm working with a recipe, if I can't get those numbers to work, then I can look at those options if I want to. If I want, I can take out a flour and put in a gluten-free flour, or I can remove the chicken that's just not fallen in line, and I could use tofu. I mean, there's so many options that are out there. And so this is, if you haven't looked at these products before, I'm going to urge you to do so. But if you're here, you're probably already following one of these alternative diets. So let's kind of go in and just kind of look at this process. So when I first figured all of this out, I had, that aha moment, and it all seemed, easy. It all seemed easy enough. But then I started researching the ingredients and combinations of ingredients. And honestly, it got to be a crazy, confusing mess. And that kind of might be where you're at right now. But what I did was I started creating my own lists for those ingredients that I was commonly seeing. And I was determining what the best options were. And then that helped me to understand, what combinations would work best as well, and what would keep those nutrients in check. So, for example, you don't want to use a potato starch-based product when you have CKD, right? It's going to push that potassium over. Not a good option. So what we need to do is, first things first, is I am an advocate for people getting tested to find out if there's any food sensitivities or allergens or anything that are going on there. If you're part of my Facebook support group, then you probably saw the post about it. And the reason I say this, and I really push for this, is because if you're following an alternative diet, there is a lot of different ingredients that aren't quite so mainstream that are used in these products. And some of them can be major allergens, you know, like soy. Soy is extremely popular in a lot of different alternative diet products. And if you have a problem with soy, you need to know that. So first things first, get that testing done. Find out, you know, what sensitivities and allergens that you have. You can jump online and find any of the like health or food testings. There's genetic testing sites that offer this as part of their package too. So feel free to jump on in there, and then you're going to know what works best for you. Now, if you already do have that information, you already have that knowledge, then you're one step ahead. Okay, so once you know what you need to watch out for or what's going to work best for you, right? Then the next step is you're going to need to do a deep dive research into that specific diet to find out what the most used ingredients are. Okay, these ingredients are either going to be individual, so like tempeh or tofu, okay? Or they're going to be base ingredients that are commonly used in the creation of a product. So like cassava flour is a base starch in gluten-free mixes. You need to know what that is. And especially, you know, if it's something you haven't worked with before, you need to know what that is. Okay, so when you're researching, make sure you make an extensive list of all the individual and base ingredients that are common within that diet that you're following. If you need to do some research online, head to the grocery store and look at these products and note those ingredients, especially the ones that are most common that you're seeing the most often on these ingredient lists. And, you know, watch for the ones that are labeled, that are listed on the list, if they're within the first like 3 to 4 ingredients, then you know you're going to see that coming up quite often. So really note those. So like for example, when you're looking at gluten-free, you're going to see a variety of starches, right? Excuse me. And there's a lot of different starches out there, and you need to know, what if it's nut-based and you have an allergy to nuts? What if, you know, what if it's a soy flour? You can't have soy. You have to understand those ingredients. And, you know, when it comes to like vegan, you're going to see a lot of like soy or pea or legume, like beans, that are used in those products. You have to know this. Okay. So once you get that list that has, you know, here's, you know, the list of the most common things that I just keep seeing with all of these products, you have your list. Now you need to research those ingredients, and then you need to categorize them. Figure out which ones are your best options. You know, put them in a low and a medium and a high. And then know what combinations work to keep those nutrients lower for your kidney diet. You may be able to look at a product or yourself combine specific ingredients together to make things work. There was one point where when we were doing gluten-free, I just wasn't a big fan of a lot of the like flours that were out there, the flour mixes. I actually started creating my own, and I was putting together, you know, those lower nutrient items and such. And that can be a job in itself. You're absolutely welcome to do it if you want to. But it can get expensive. And that's one of the things I found out, because suddenly you're buying, you know, 4 or 5 different things that you're going to combine together. Well, those 4 or 5 different things, as you probably already know, aren't cheap. You're getting, you know, a smaller sized bag for a big price tag. I did eventually settle on Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1 baking mix. And I'm not being paid for that. I'm just saying that that's what I found works really, really well. And it works for CKD. So it's an awesome option. It does contain xanthan. So if you have an issue with that, which more and more people are coming forward with saying, yeah, can't do it, be aware of that. So this whole thing, this is what you need to do. This process is going to, apply for not just gluten-free that I know I've touched on. This is for vegan, lower carb, dairy-free, all of them. You need to do this if you're following any of those. And what we're basically doing is we're going to create that list and narrow down your best options so that you get familiar with them and you know what to look for on labels. But more importantly, you're going to, excuse me, you're going to be able to get this list, become familiar with it, and then you're going to be able to go out, find those products, and you're going to become familiar with those products, and you're going to pretty much rely on them. So once you've figured all this out, you're going to know what products are good to use and you're going to stick with it. So even though it seems like a lot of work up front, it is. I'm not going to lie. But once it's done, and you're going to have the knowledge you need, and you know the products you want to use, that kind of thing. But even if, a new product comes out, you'll be able to look at that product and know whether it's something you're going to use or not. Okay, so once you have that list, you are going to be able to go through back to that creating your list video, and then you're going to follow through those steps where you're going to be taking the lists and highlighting, the things that work and crossing off the things that don't. So again, go back and watch that if you need to. So like I said, I know it sounds like a lot of work, and I'm not going to lie to you, it really is. It took me a long time. I think it was about a year to unravel that mess, but I did it. And so, if you don't want to go through all that, if you don't want to deal with the lists and researching and all that crud, I get it. I did it because it was my job. But a lot of you don't have time. So please feel free to go ahead and go to my website, howtoeatforckd.com. Now there's books available for my entire program. There is an online program, and you have the option of getting the alternative diet specific section if you wish to. So if you're like, I ain't doing that, I'm just not, just give me the answer, right? Then go ahead and you can grab that specific section. We broke down the program so that it has all the individual sections, and you can purchase just what you need right now. So if you need to know that, then go ahead, grab that, and then you can make your list. The information is already put in there, like what your best options are, so that you will know like what you could combine and what would work best. So I've categorized everything. It's real simple for you. So I'm just trying to make this as easy as possible, because I fully understand, after having been through it, how it can be kind of confusing. Okay, kind of isn't the right word. How it can be really confusing working an alternative CKD diet. So I would love to help you out, but hopefully I have done that already with giving you this information to help you kind of simplify things a little bit. Okay, so that's it for now. So for the love of kidneys, I will see you later.